Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Conversations of Connection, Mental Wellness and Sports and Life. And we're delighted to welcome you on board and simply say hello as we're really excited about the show that we have to unfold in front of all of you today. My name is Scott Murray, along with my sidekick.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nina Riastoria.
And you are really excited about what you've got right here because that's all you've talked about for the last couple of weeks, this guy named Yancy. I'm going, who is this guy? What's he do?
Right.
So tell us about it, who he is and what our special guest is all
Well,
about.
I'm excited. I got to meet Yancy when we started doing something with Spartan Racing and working with young kids and getting them motivated to exercise. But Yancy's been coaching, been working with all levels of athletes and people doing performance coaching and training for over 25 years. He also is the co-founder and the program director of DECA Spartan, which he's going to tell you more about. He's just done some amazing things, and his heart and his passion is about bringing people together, getting them moving, getting them active, and making them feel good. And that's what he lights up when he talks about it, and you'll see it when we interview him today. But we're excited to have Yancy Culp on our show today. Welcome, Yancy.
Hello, Yancy.
Thanks,
welcome.
team. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. So it's like, where do we begin? There's so much that you've done in the last 25 plus years, but your heart is fitness. Where did that begin for you?
My little one-liner that I use now is all of us in the fitness space, we're in the business of dealing the world's most powerful drug, fitness, movement, exercise, health and wellness. We've all seen it change and even save lives in some cases. And that's why we love what we do so much. I kind of compare it to, you hear people talking about the nursing industry or the teaching industry where, arguably 95% of the world has no business being in that industry. It's the true service industry. And that's what we do in fitness. And the people that do well in fitness passionately love what we do. I had the wonderful opportunity to grow up small town, Munster, Texas, on hundreds of acres, farming and ranching, learned the value of hard work. Fitness was naturally a part of my life. It wasn't, we weren't calling it fitness, it was work. But, I had the wonderful opportunity to work on a farm and ranch, and it's a great childhood. Played all sports, small school, Munster, Texas. If everybody didn't play, you didn't have a team. So played all the sports, had the wonderful opportunity to, actually, let me back up. I had a mother and father, especially dad, that graciously pushed taking care of your beautiful machine. I always tell a story. It normally brings a tear to my eye, but I'll tell it real quick. We had this plot of land on our farm. It was a 20-acre plot. Early on in my childhood, I loved running. My dad was a very high-level runner, and to stay with Dad, I would round the corners. He would go all the way to the corner, make the turns, and I would round all the corners, and that would kind of keep us on the same pace for a couple years. And then there was a couple years where our pace was the same. And then as I got older, my pace was faster than Dad. And then Dad was rounding the corner. So it was like this evolution. He was always creating competitions with cousins and friends. And then move on, had the wonderful opportunity to do a little track and field running at cross country University of North Texas for a little bit before I joined the Navy, 4 years in the U.S. Navy. And then dove right into the corporate management world, managing airports and air stations on military bases and FBOs. And I got my first job as moonlighting as a personal trainer at the YMCA in 1996 or 7. I can't remember exactly, but in San Diego. And I always said I had two jobs that I loved. And ever since I've had two jobs that I love. And fitness has always been just a huge part of my life. So I always look at it this way. Not everybody had that amazing childhood with fitness, movement in your life, and a mom and a dad pushing that. So it's our job as coaches to try to teach people that have never had that, the value of taking care of your beautiful machine. So I could spend 3 hours talking about that, but I'll let you dive into your question, my friend. I apologize. I take over sometimes.
You're excited. You're passionate.
Okay, let me ask you this question then right off the top. You talk about your dad. You talk about your mom. You're a dad now. Is that right?
Yes, sir. 17 and 13-year-old, senior and eighth grade in high school.
Best advice with all that you've just shared with us, what you went through in, growing up and what it was like and running with your dad and that type of thing. 3 things that come to mind that you say are the most important things that you can share with your children or that you should tell our viewers and our listeners here today. what they should always focus on. You know, there's lots of things that we want to do. We want to be as positive and productive as in a kind, courteous, respectful way in this crazy world we're all a part of right now. So what is the three things that come to mind that you say are the most important things if you're going to be kind, successful, respectful, and just be the rock and roll star you want to be?
Okay, love the question. Number one, take care of your beautiful machine. Be selfish with your time, a little bit of your time every single day to take care of yourself. Serve yourself. What comes with that is a multitude of things. One, we wake up when we're 50, 60, 70, 80, and we are still able to say yes to everything this beautiful rock of ours called planet Earth provides for us. We're able to serve the people use our bodies and our minds because we've taken care of it to serve friends, family, coworkers, and neighbors, community, state, country, planet. And without that, you wake up and you find yourself saying no to the type of work you want to do, active vacations with kids, eventually grandkids, and enjoying this beautiful rock of ours, like I said. So it is planting that seed of the importance of I do need to be selfish with my time. I need to this is my 45 minutes. It's about me, and then I can go serve because the mind is clear and the body is ready to rock and roll. My good friend, Benny Wiley, I'm fresh off of coming back from the Idea World Fitness Convention in Los Angeles at the Convention Center and the Todd Durkin Impact Summit, where my love tank was filled with fitness. We got to break the jumping jack world record with Jacqueline Lane's 98-year-old wife, and she is a freaking amazing rock star. Love that lady, just full of vigor. We did 98 jumping jacks together, about 3,400 people in honor of her 98th birthday. But I got to hang out with my great friend Benny Wiley, Denise Austin, Gilad, Tony Horton, Billy Blanks, Todd Durkin, this fitness mastermind of amazing humans. And Benny said something. Benny and I go way back. He's been the strength coach for the Oklahoma Sooners, the Dallas Cowboys, Tennessee Volunteers, Texas Longhorns, Texas Tech Red Raiders, and USC. He's amazing. He said, Yancy, you need to be, and he's speaking to a crowd. He said, you need to be consistent and be a good person consistently. Just check that box every day. Be consistent with what you need to do that's inside the guardrails to live a life of purpose, and be consistently good and nice to people. And I love the kindergarten level of that. It's not like coming from this high level of like a semester of learning psychology. It is so, and I know I can speak for Dr. Nina on this, sometimes we need to bring it down to a level where everybody can understand it. Just be good. Be good to people. Take care of your beautiful machine. And I would say a non-debatable, I have the wonderful opportunity to travel the country and with Michael Caron, owner-founder of Get Burley. I'm a master's coach of Get Burley, and we teach large groups, 50 to 100 plus people, middle school, high school, corporate level, all levels of adults and youth. And we say it this way, non-debatable, every day of your life, you live on 1 to 3 platforms, A, B, or C. Let's take a few seconds for each one of them. A, you bring amazing energy. You are optimistic. People like having you in the room and on the team. B is mediocrity. And C is you're selfish, negative energy, a little bit of a pain in the ass. And that's non-debatable. Every human on planet Earth spends most of their time every day on one of those 3 platforms. Do what you need to do every day. Do not roll out of bed in the morning and put your feet on the floor until you say, listen, I am going to do everything I can do to live on platform A. So people like having me on the team. They like my energy. They want me around. I serve. I am selfless. And so I guess those are the 3 things that come off the top of my head as far as things to pass on to anybody listening.
One of the things
and my kiddos.
And I agree with it 100%. You said we need to invest in ourselves. 45 minutes, be consistent for ourselves so that we can be the father, the friend, the parent that we need to be. So some people are listening, athletes are listening, and maybe they've transferred out of their sport and they're struggling to keep motivated. You've been motivating people and yourself for many years. What do you say to people that are struggling, that are going through something difficult, or they say they don't have time, or they're traveling, or they're working? Because many people, as you know, struggle with just moving their body every day. And that's what you're doing, is getting them to move their body. What's your advice or encouraging words to people that are struggling or going through something dark right now?
I think we all overthink it sometimes, and we think, oh, it's going to take a 6-week program or a 6-month program, or I got to looking down the road with how long it's going to take for me to get my diet right and stay consistent and in my fitness. And if you're on I always tell people to really make it feel comfortable to them is if you're on a program right now that will not work for you long term, meaning I cannot wait for this fitness or nutrition routine to be over. This sucks so bad. It's working, but it sucks so bad, and I can't wait for it to be over. That's not a long-term success story. If what you're doing, it could be 20 minutes. I'm going to give myself 20 minutes today. I'm going to make small choices with my diet, my lifestyle choices. If anything rips the rug out from under you, it's going to be unbelievably hard and having a very high risk of failure if it rips the rug out from under you. Yeah. So you need to bolt on things to your life that mesh into your life. And keeping in mind that as an athlete, as a businessman or woman, or as a mother or a father, 98% of our time is outside the spotlight. There's no fans cheering for us. It's just raising kids, working on big projects, training and practicing for the game. And then the 2% is when the spotlight's on. Kids are graduating from high school or college, or we're turning in the big project, and we're in front, we're speaking on the stage, or we're winning championships under the lights. You got to fall in love with the 98% and learn how to mesh taking care of the beautiful machine mentally and physically into that 98%. So it doesn't have to be a 1-hour organized training session at the gym. Those are great. I always encourage people to get into group exercise, even if you find yourself as an introvert. You get into a couple classes, like, oh my gosh, that really filled my love tank. Being around people, and awesome coaches, and like it's like if you're shopping for a house or a car or anything else, shop around. We're not all great at what we do. There are some coaches that will change your life. They will make you fall in love with fitness so much that you'll find yourself putting your coaching hat on, inviting friends, family, coworkers, and neighbors in to come test their fitness and come train with you. So hang out with people that are really good at motivating you, and other platform A people, because you'll fall off in the mud sometimes, and we're surrounded by people that are other platform A people. They will pick you back up and put you back on A. If you're on C and you fall off, they're just going to jump on the mud with you. Right. So the type of people you hang around, and don't, I just want to stress one more time, this does not have to be overwhelming. It needs to graciously mesh itself into your life to where we see change over time. And you find, like, wait a second, I could do this. The way I'm practicing my nutrition now or my fitness now, I could see this bolted onto my life for 20, 30, 40 years.
That's good. I like that you said
just the rest of my life, period.
Yeah, start off small, do something that seems like it would be enjoyable, and I like that you find an accountability group or people that are going to encourage you. Some of those things can be really beneficial, is what you're saying.
And get to a start line. Test your fitness. You have to tell it. There's so much research around. If we can get you to a finish line, maybe hang a medal around your neck, celebrate with you, the chances of you pushing fitness out of your life diminishes greatly if you will periodically test. Because like you said, you mentioned Spartan DECA. We believe, and I believe, and most coaches and trainers do, everybody's an athlete. Some of us are just on different journeys, and we all have a little bit of competitive juices in us. And to see ourselves on a leaderboard or test yourself is so wildly powerful to your long-term success story.
Tell everyone about DECA, since this is a good transition to talk about DECA-Fit and what it is, and that many people can do that, or DECA Fire, the assessment or the test, and what that's about.
So I've been working with Joe DeSena, owner, founder, CEO of Spartan, for a long, long time. Amazing man. If you know him, you know. If you know, you know. They broke the mold when Joe was born. They kicked it off the side of the cliff. There will never be another Joe DeSena. He's responsible for, and his team and our team is responsible for getting 15 million people off the couch with the mud and the barbed wire and the obstacles and the Spartans and the Tough Mudders and all the amazing events that we own. Well, in December 2019, I'm sitting in his kitchen in Pittsfield, Vermont, and I said, Joe, we pulled 15 million people off the couch with the mud and the barbed wire, but I'm here to tell you, as an old fitness coach, a high percentage of people, we're never going to get to the mud and the barbed wire and the obstacles. What if we created a sport for all levels of fitness? Meaning, if you could walk and breathe, there's a damn good chance you could cross this finish line. And if this sport took place inside gyms, clubs, studios, and boxes across the world, long story short, Joe's a fire-ready aim guy. He's like, oh my gosh, do it. I love it. And he said, yes, go. My good friend Jared Cogswell and I brought him on board the very next day, and we rented an old abandoned Kmart in Denver, Colorado, and we murdered the plan. For 3 months, we tested all levels of fitness, professional athletes, hundreds of people, 100 pounds overweight, and everybody in between. And I said, we're not leaving here until everybody, all levels of fitness is crossing the finish line. Fast forward to today, we have 350 gyms, clubs, studios, and boxes that have bolted us on. They hold Spartan DECA fitness competition events designed for all levels of fitness. They've held 1,800 plus revenue generating events inside their gyms, outside their gyms. They bolt them onto businesses, high schools sometimes. But the ultimate goal was to create a you versus you celebration of fitness for all levels in the same arena on the same day using the exact same standards. All levels come together and celebrate the power of fitness. We completely changed the game. We wanted to create a sport for the 80%ers that have never had their sport. They're overweight, they're unfit, they're not on a good fitness journey, and they're not participating in the common participatory sports right now. We made it for them. The 20%ers love it as well. But the 80%ers are loving it, and they now have their sport, and they're finding themselves putting their coaching hat on, as I said, and inviting their friends in and family members in. So it'd take me about 3 hours to give you the whole story of DECA, but that's a quick little 5-minute down and dirty on all things Spartan DECA. We just love the power of providing start lines for people at Spartan and Tough Mudder and DECA and Trail and all the other 15, 20 different endurance events and that we own.
What's DECA stand for? Where'd you come up with that name?
DECA is Greek for 10. If you know, you hear the decathlon, they spell it D-E-C-A. D-E-K-A is actually an official Greek term, D-E-K-A. Back in the day, I think it was used more as D-E-K-A than D-E-C-A, but just like the decathlon, it means 10. So we have 10 functional fitness stations designed for all levels. And when we were building them, we wanted a test that if you bring your friend in that's never walked in the gym before, we wanted it to meet them right where they're at right now, be low risk of injury, and almost guarantee they're going to cross the finish line. So we said, let's look at 2,000 to 3,000 years ago when it wasn't fitness and exercise. It was basic movement for survival. We don't want people to have to be taught how to do this. It's just basic movement. So we said, we're going to do super basic lift, carry, push, pull. We're going to kneel down and stand back up. We're going to get all the way down on the ground, stand back up and press something above our head. We're going to get over a basic obstacle in life, 24-inch box in this case. You can step, jump, or crawl your butt up and over it, and 3 rudimentary forms of transportation that have been around a long time: row, ski, and bike. In this case, the air bike. So it's each zone by itself is ridiculously simple, but when you combine it, we feel it's a great, well-rounded functional fitness test for all levels. And like I said, 1,800 events, hundreds of thousands of people have crossed the finish line in the last 4 years. Built the whole thing during COVID when people thought we were crazy, but we made it work, and it's moving fast now.
Yeah. Well, were you going to ask?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to talk about your mindset. So you've told us about growing up with your dad, and obviously he was a very big influence on you and your family. Your mindset, your optimism, it just seems like it's just been present throughout your life. Even I know you've been through cancer. I don't know that whole story yet. You may want to share that if you'd like. How do you stay so optimistic and energetic?
We have a choice every day. You know, we're all dealt different hands, and we all come from different walks of life, low socio, high socio, and everything in between. And everybody wakes up in the morning, though, and has a choice to make. And I just choose, and I always say, if I'm giving a keynote or something, I always say, you know, I'm going to cover a bunch of stuff today, but 98% of what you hear isn't something that I just came up with. It's beautiful, wonderful people served me with their nuggets. They've loved on me, and it's now my job to pass it on. So I just firmly believe through all the influence that I've received that I find myself in a situation that I refuse to get out of bed in the morning without saying I want to dominate the day to day. And I'll be perfectly honest. You know, we all have mentors and accountability partner. Some are in person there. You know, you sit down with a mentor, accountability partner. I have that in my life, but you know, I'm a strong Christian, and my ultimate accountability partner sits right here on my shoulder all day long, you know, and he's there, and he's always there to smack me around. And even if it's just me physically on planet Earth. So every now and then you kind of get smacked around by, you know, what I believe was the only person that came here and said, listen, this is exactly how all you wonderful people should do this. Let me kind of give you a business plan, a life plan. So that's, and so if it's that in-person accountability partner or whatever you use from a faith-based perspective, like I do, it's important to have those guardrails, because we're faced with hundreds, if not thousands, of quick decisions, sometimes very important decisions every single day. And it's a bit of advice to everybody out there. I get this from Brian Kane, who is a very world-renowned mental conditioning coach. Again, another case of it isn't something Yancy came up with, but I use it thousands of times in my teachings, is that you need to develop a pause button. Before I jumped on this podcast, I hit the pause button and said, I've got to be the best version of myself to try to serve people. I'm going to jump on other calls. I'm going to be in face-to-face with people. I'm going to walk into rooms, meetings, Google Hangouts, lives, Zooms, handshaking, all the stuff. It could be a 5-second interaction, 5-minute or 5-hour or 5-year. I have got to hit the pause button and say, what do I need to do to maximize this time to be the best servant leader I can be, to be that selfless person, not make it about me, but make it about all the people that I have the wonderful opportunity to serve. And so that pause button is huge for let's talk middle schoolers, high schoolers right now. Their moms and dads that are listening. Use this with your kiddos, that before you walk into class or the film room or the weight room or before you step on the field to play, or you walk into work today, if you're that type of person that will hit that pause button and say, okay, I know I'm failing forward. I'm not going to be perfect today, but every single moment that I have, I'm going to take a 5-second pause and say, let's freaking knock this out of the park. Let's be our best. And that becomes habitual. You might need to slap your leg or something to have that little moment, but it will become habitual. And you just become, as Benny says, consistent and good. And you're a great version of what we need more of on planet Earth when you get good at that.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to tell you, I love that pause, just pausing for that moment to reset almost before you do anything. And then your self-talk and what you tell yourself is so good. You're like your own cheerleader in your head. And I just think that awareness, that pause gives you that awareness to talk kindly and loving to yourself, which you had, like you said, have become very habitual doing. It's just, it's a habit for you.
Yeah. And we hold ourselves back. We are all our worst enemy. We hold ourselves back, and I'm just not afraid to dive in and fail. And maybe it comes with age. And as you said, as a cancer survivor, you think you have it all figured out, and then you go through something like that, a near-death experience, or you're like, whoa, your life's in the palm of your hands. And it's like, it may be over soon. And you fight and you get past that. In my case, I was stage 3 colon cancer, about a 9-month journey, had 8 inches of my large intestine removed and a bunch of lymph nodes and chemo and all the stuff. Everybody knows somebody that's gone through it. And many of them, when you talk to them, it's like, I was a better version of myself on the other end of that journey, because it's just a great daily reminder. And it also comes with age. You just, that you're once you kind of get to, I'm on the second half of life, if you live a servant-minded life, you become a little more passionate about trying to graciously relay the message, or graciously forcefully relay the message, and you want to serve people with that, because they have more time than us. The 3 of us will be gone quicker than them, and they're gonna be in charge of this beautiful rock of ours we call planet Earth. So, what can we do to be great servant leaders to them? And it just sometimes boils down to, don't overthink it. We're none of us are just the greatest of the great. We just be consistently good, and don't be afraid to freaking dive in and like speak to that one-on-one talk with somebody that needs you. Dive into that conversation. Be ridiculously present. Be in the room, as Todd Durkin says. Be in the room and present. So if it's a group, if it's Tony Robbins talking to a group of 4,000, or me talking to one person that needs that 5 minutes of me, just go all in.
Gosh,
don't worry about that it wasn't perfect. Just go.
So let me play off of what you just shared with us. Whether it's Tony Robbins and you say 4,000 people, whether you're talking to one person, I just wonder the messages that you've shared with us here today, and yet the message that you share as you go around the country, and whatever the message might be, to how many it might be, and whatever it might be. What is what is your legacy? Years from now, you talk about being in a near-death scenario with the colon cancer and what have you. I just wonder, what about the just who you are, what you're proudest of, and how you want to be remembered. So 50 years from now, somebody talks about Yancy and they go, "Oh, I remember him. He came to our, whatever." What comes to mind?
A couple of things. I really appreciate the question, and it gets you to thinking. I passionately love fitness and serving people with fitness, and I am radically focused every day of my life on what can we do to break the code, break the problem where about research shows 70-80% they've never had a gym membership, they're not on a good fitness journey. I want to change that. That's when I created DECA, and we created DECA the way we did. Is my passion was to create that sport for all the people who've never had their sport. So I was at an event in Austin, Texas, our largest DECA event we've ever had, Austin Convention Center, and we had thousands of people there, including spectators, probably 4,000 people. My wife competed with my daughter on the team. I had so many friends, family members, coworkers, my neighbors, the city, the Austin, the play in Cedar Park where I get to live my life. So many people were there. Many people that are new to fitness because of DECA. I remember telling my wife, I was like, if God forbid I had an accident tonight and I passed away, my love tank would be filled because we've been able to make a difference. But also I want to be known as the person that was far from perfect, always failing forward, but wasn't afraid to fail forward, and dive in and try to be consistently good to people. The person is like, if you say, hey, there's all these people out there and you've got these groups, this group here is people the people in your life that truly tried to, for the greater good, serve the human race from a mental and physical way to put us on a better, it's always a bumpy path, but on a better path, a smoother path to live in this beautiful life of harmony together and service to each other. And that's how his gears were always turning that away, and trying to be creative to bring people together. I think that would be the, just through messaging and in person or through videos that I post and all the stuff that would be the, like he was one of those guys. I guess is off the top of my head, best answer I can give you there, Scott.
All right, let me jump on and add to that. As you sit here right now, middle-aged man, still very busy in your life, ready to move forward and do whatever you can in a positive, productive way. Things that you still have to do. You look at your to-do list right up over here in the corner. What's still on that to-do list? What are the things that you haven't done in your life that you still would like to do?
Continue working on becoming a better husband and father, and eventually grandfather. Number one, and making, the old accountability partner I talked about, making him proud. When you put your head on the pillow at night, hey, did I do a good job? You proud of me or not proud of me? Asking myself that question every day and having that real talk. But specifically with DECA and just the fitness and health and wellness space, I have the wonderful opportunity to work with a lot of companies, and they're all in the health and wellness space, and I passionately love that I could sit down at a table and every CEO and COO and CFO and all the executives could collaborate together. That's who I work with, and I won't work with people that are out of that space. That's just my space. Good people, good companies. But I want DECA, my dream for DECA, and I passionately think about it all the time, is I want it to be 4,000 to 5,000 gyms, clubs, studios, and boxes across the world, to where 99.9%, if not 100% of the entire world is a short drive or a short walk, or maybe it's their gym home, to being able to bolt DECA onto their life as arguably the greatest full body functional fitness test designed for all levels the world's ever seen, for that to be their sport. For all the people that have never had their sport, for it to be one of the most talked about sports and fitness tests on planet Earth of all time. That's what we want DECA to go, and it's we add anywhere from 10 to 20 new gyms every month, and it's been an awesome. So I'm committed to that long term and working with anybody out there that can help us get there. Not in competition to all the other things that are out there that are testing fitness and making people better. We are a bolt-on to all of that. We support every bit of it. We are a competitor of nobody and a supporter of everybody that's in the space of making people better in any type of health and wellness, mental and physical way.
Okay. We've got about 30 seconds. Closing thought that you want to share?
Well, no, I just want to say thank you for being on the show and just your passion, not just for fitness, but for bringing people together and creating connection and community and peace and harmony and just energy for like getting active and fit. And you've created something really special and unique that I think obviously has made an impression on many. And I do see it growing. So congratulations on that. I want to say that. And then if people want to get to know or learn more about you and DECA, where would you send them?
Probably the quickest and easiest way would be Instagram at Yancy Culp. For me, YANCYCULP as in Papa. At DECA.fit for all things DECA. And you can follow us at Spartan, at Tough Mudder, but specifically for DECA at DECA.fit and at Yancy Culp. And then, you shoot me a private message and we can connect. There's nothing I love more than connecting with people, collaborating. I posted a funny video this morning about my ADHD brain. It's like, if I get to improv all day long and be in the room with people and collaborate and network, it's like, that's cake. That's not even work. But, if I have to look at a spreadsheet or got to read through something in detail, when one sitting is like, oh my God, now things get complicated. I just love being around people and communicating with people. So shoot me a message and I will drop what I'm doing and jump on a Google Hangout call with you or a phone call with you, and we'll collaborate. If it's just you got a question or you want to talk life, talk Spartan DECA, talk anything that I'm involved with, that's probably the best way.
Yancy, can't thank you enough. Conversations to Connection, the name of the program, and here it is, the Connection King, huh?
Yeah, he is. Thank you, Yancy, for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Mental wellness and sports and life, and Yancy was certainly spot on. Thanks again. Stay safe and be well, Yancy.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, so until next time, for my sidekick here, Dr. Nina, I'm Scott, and we'll see you next time on Journey, right?
Mental wellness and sports.
You got it. Thanks. Stay well.